As it is written, the kingdom is within us. Come together and discuss the issues within the kingdom. Speak your peace. Speak the truth. For the kingdom is at hand. Kingdom Conversations.
Hey, peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Shalom. Shalom to everyone. Shalom to the whole house. The whole house of Israel. Shalom to everybody that's in the chat. Shalom to the scattered, the dispersed. Those that experience the transatlantics. Those that experience 70 AD. Those that experience everything prior to that, during that, and after that. I bid you peace and blessings. First, before I even jump in, I got to give honor to where honor is due. And I must give honor to the Father. Book says he's the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which means that he's the father of Israel. So I must pay homage to him first and foremost. And also to his son. Some of you know him as Jesus. Some of you know him as Yahuwah. Some of you know him as Yahushua. I know him as Mashiach because he's the Savior. I bid all of you shalom. Once again, you're here for another episode of Kingdom Conversations. And we're going to have a conversation today. And today's conversation is going to be about, we're going to distill 3 different paradigms down, and we're going to discuss them, and you guys are going to give me a ton of feedback and a ton of precepts. But before we jump into that and get any movement going on that, what I would like to do is I would like to say thank the Father for the verdict that he bestowed on us with the murder of our brother, our beloved Ahmaud Arbery. And I'd like to thank the Father for that, because he is in control of everything. The book says he is in control of good and evil. Not just good, but he's in control of good and evil. So today I want to thank him for allowing the wicked United Snakes to show a little bit of justice while we in this construct. And I appreciate that from him. And I appreciate the Arbery family, and may the Most High have and give them some peace right now, because they need that more so than anything. They need to have some peace in their life because of what happened to their son, according to what those 3 wicked stooges did to him, and they're going to try to claim self-defense. And so I'm going to say thank you, Father, for that. And y'all bear with me for a moment. I want to get some music playing in the background. How you guys doing today? Put a 1 up if you guys are doing good. Let me know how the family feeling. Put a 1 up. And while you guys putting those 1s up, I'm gonna jiggle these wires a little bit to see if I can get the sound and the music coming in kind of decent, more so than we had last time. So put a 1 up if the Most High has refreshed you, and he's been protecting you, and he's been doing great things for you in your life, revealing truths to you and everything that goes along with that. If he's been doing that for you, put a 1 up. I know I need to put 5 1s up, because I know he's been doing a great work in my life personally. He's steady working me. I'm a work in progress, fam. I won't have arrived until I see him face to face. And he say, well done, my good and faithful servant. That's what I hope to hear when I see him. Well done, my good and faithful servant. We all should be striving for that, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, as we normally do, I got to greet the family. I got to go in and greet everybody that showed up. And y'all tell me if the music is too hot, because if the music is too hot, I'll make sure that I turn it down. So if the music's too hot, give me a 2. If not, I'll let it rock out the way it's rocking out. So start from the top like we normally do and work down. Peace and blessings to Optimal Training. Darnell Blackshear, and you two brothers are always on first. So since y'all always on first, the next show we have, I'm going to invite y'all two on and y'all go come on and speak your piece. Since y'all always like to be the first two to jump on. Peace and blessings to you, Brother T. Sarita Hebrew, hey sis, how you doing? Hope all is well. Lena Yah Yisrael, peace and blessings to you, sis. Rochelle Yah's daughter, peace and blessings, sister. Hope you're doing well. I see you in the other rooms giving people hell, and that's good. You be spitting that book to them, and that's good. People need to hear the book. They need to hear the book from the true perspective, not from Christianity perspective, because we know Christianity is a lie, and it always has been and always will be, but I digress. Joy 3160, shalom sis, how you doing? Yvette Riviera, good seeing you. Hey, Kenneth Wilkerson, what's good, family? Hey, haven't seen you in a minute, man. Where you been, man? Kenneth Wilkerson, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. L&L Israel, good to see you. Hey, brother EA, the link, I'm going to drop the link for you. You come on and join in with me, bro. It's good seeing you, and good work that you had earlier today, too, by the way. Even though sometimes I don't chime in, just know that that your big bro is always listening and giving you a thumbs up and amening and conning and improving that good teaching that you be putting down. Nisi Lewis, shalom to you. Marcella Smith, shalom to you, sister. Linda Ricks, shalom to you. Brother T, we got you. Jason Phillip McCauley, shalom to you. I think we done covered everybody. Obadiah Beloved, shalom to you. And I believe we got the whole house that's here. Sister Born Bold, all praises to the Most High. Good to see you, sis. My sultry sound, shalom to you. So E, if you want to jump in, there's the link to the chat. You can jump in at any time you want, bro, and speak your mind. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to jump right in right quick. I want to just ask the family again. How are you doing? Is everything good for you? Shalom, Cool J. It's good to see you, bro. How's the family doing today? Put a 1 up if you're doing good. Put a 1 up if you're doing not so good. And put a 3 up. If you're not doing good, then that means that you need Jesus. So you need you some Jesus, and you need to get saved. Because none of you Israelites, y'all not saved. That's word on the street is none of the Israelites, people that's claiming to be Israel, is saved. So I'm here to say that y'all all probably need Jesus then, because y'all not saved. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So today's topic and lesson, well, it's not a lesson actually, it's actually a topic. Because what I'm going to do, like how we normally do, is I'm going to throw something out there, and then the family is going to give me ample and great feedback, whether it be contextually or whether if you want to jump on and let the family hear your voice. Either way is good for me. But the feedback is what's important, because this is a journey and a puzzle that the Most High gave Israel to put together. So no one channel, no one so-called church, no one so-called assembly, camp. It takes all of us, and it's going to take all of us. Like I've been telling you all, it's all hands on deck. So if you think that you can do a work by yourself, have at it, but it's going to take all of us. Every one of us, everybody in the chat, myself included, we all have keys. And it's going to take all of us with these keys and these puzzle pieces that we have. We put them together, and together we will be the nation of Israel. Not singularity or thinking that you can do it all on your own. So today we're going to talk about 3 gods and 3 paradigms. Before we do that, I need to get my screen up and share my screen. So just bear with me for a second while I make that happen. Okay, so do me a favor, fam. Tell me, I need to know what's going on with the music because you guys know I've been, like I said, I've been jiggling wires. So tell me if the music's too hot. Give me a one if it's good. Give me if it's two, if it's too loud or you can't hear it. And then after I get the response from you guys, then we'll jump into the presentation. All right. Okay, so can you guys see the screen good? Throw me a one up if you can see the screen, if it's not too distorted, and then I'm going to jump in. Seems like the chat is kind of slow today, but it's probably on me. Okay, how's my audio? My audio good, fam? Okay, I got a one, so that means I'm good. Okay, so three gods, three paradigms, and then the question is, which do you serve? So this is a question that is not spawned from anything recent. This is more or less a question that hasn't come up, but it's a question that all Israelites need to consider, right? And when we say which do you serve, everybody's serving something, whether they know it or not, right? You could be serving food. And what I mean by that is that food could be your idol, right? You could be serving an individual in your life. You could also be serving gods or different gods or entities or spirits or rocks or money or music or light bulbs, your boss, your children. So it really boils down to who you are serving and what you are serving. Now, we have three gods and three paradigms. So what we're not going to do is, well, I'm not going to spoil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into it. Okay. So first slide is how many God or gods are there, right? So I'm going to start from left to right. So, and that's a question to you, fam. That's a question that I ask you. And keep in mind that there's no right or wrong answer. There's just feedback, right? Because when we do get the answer, we'll go get the answer from the book. So if I were to ask you, and I'm asking this question now, how many God or gods are there? What is your answer? And I want to see you type your answer contextually in the chat, right? And as you guys are doing that, I'm going to go from left to right. So these are just three examples of so-called gods. First of all, the first one you have is, of course, the Zigzag Man. And I found the yoke version of him. I don't know if you guys seen this one before, but this is the yoke version of the Zigzag Man. For those of you who don't know what yoked is, that's probably could be a worldwide colloquialism, but it means that he's just a buff dude. So he's the buff version of Cesare Borgia. And they look up to him. You could probably liken him to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, Nager, but I digress. The middle one here is Odin, and most of you know who Odin is. I'm not going to go into what these entities are and who they are. I'm just going to just show them. And then this one is the Greek goddess Demeter. And I had to throw a female goddess in there because contrary to popular belief, there are male and female, and I will call them for this show entities, right? Okay, so we've got some answers coming up. So what I want to do is I want to switch my mode. You guys bear with me for a second. I'm going to switch my mode so I could throw up some of the answers so that we can continue this dialogue that we're having. So let me get into this mode right here. Nope, let's get into that mode. I wonder if we can go, if we go that. Okay, great. That's excellent. Let's see here. The brother Jason Philip McCauley says there are many gods, but one true and living Elohim. Yeah, you look like you probably been reading the book, man. You need to Put the book down. Put the book down and go take up sewing or something. You read the book too much. Joy says, one true God, but many fake ones. You guys putting in these good answers. I'm gonna tell y'all to get off the chat and go read War and Peace, or go watch the NBA or something. Let's see. Obadiah, beloved Israel, 1 John 5 and 7. Okay, so I don't have that precept, bro, and right now I'm not set up to do it, but what you can do is, if you get the precepts, you get the contextual for that, you drop it in and we'll definitely put it up. Darnell Blackshear says, there is one true God, but many false gods. And then again, we got another one of these people that, you must not be a Christian, Darnell, because it sounds like you've been reading a book. My sultry sound says, there is but one most high Yahuwah, but millions upon millions of gods worshipped by the nations. Wow, millions by millions. That means that there's a lot of confusion on the earth. Books say the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Huh, okay, I see you. How good were they? Good to see you, brother. Nice to see you. Hopefully when I drop the link in, you join on and speak your piece. How Goodwin says, there are many gods, not all are living. Some are stones, some are ideas, etc. Agreed. Peace and blessing to you, Cindy Carr. How you doing, sis? Welcome to the show. Well, good to see you. Okay, so those are all really fantastic answers. And so what we will typically do is, if we say something or speak something, where do we have to go to get the answers, or look for where the answer will be found? Typically, my father, who's gone now, he passed away, but he would always tell us, no matter what, he would always say, everything you want to know is in the book. And that resonated and stuck with me. And it's funny, what's funny about him is, because you come full circle, they was Bible believers, just Baptists. But they didn't believe in that you save doctrine. You save by going scuba the Bible, or sell me that Hyundai, and then all of a sudden you say some goofy prayer, and then all of a sudden zap like wow, like Burger King, or something magical trick that you saved, right? They didn't go with that, but I digress. Sister Rochelle says, I believe one true most high Elohim. I have to keep reading these comments because y'all keep throwing them in there, so I'll keep reading them. I'm going to read this last one. But our beloved Israel, for there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, God, the Word, absolutely, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. That's what the book says, so you got to go with it. Always got to go with the book say first. So I'm gonna jump to the next slide so that we can keep the ball rolling here and turn that off. Let's see here. Okay, we jump to the next slide. Okay, so the answer is all of you were for the most were correct. I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians 8, and I'm going to read in context. I'm going to start from verse 3. But if any man love the Father, the same is known of him. Verse 4, as concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other Father but one. Okay, so he just put down everything that's non-tangible when he said idol, and those and also those things that are tangible, because we said an idol can be anything earlier. Verse 5, for though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth. Notice that he says whether in heaven. So there are entities in the heavens that are called gods. There are also entities in the earth and on the earth that are called gods. And the rest of the verse says, as there be gods many and lords many. So there's a distinction there. And I'm glad they make this distinction. There's a distinction between gods or Elohim and lords. Verse 6, and then you'll see why in verse 6. But to us there is but one God, the Father. So that's why I call him Father, because God is a title. Father is something I can relate to him to. I can't really relate to him to that Greek term. That's why you will always hear me say Father, right? So, starting from the top. But to us, there is but one God, the Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of whom are all things, not some things, not partial things, not a little bit of things, all things. And we in him. And one Lord, Jesus Christ, or who I refer to as Mashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. So, according to the book, there are many gods, some in heaven, some on the earth, but there's only one true one, and that's the Father. And he made a distinction with that too. He made this distinction right here, and he also made a distinction with Mashiach. So you can't get around that. Nobody can get around. You can't null and void. You cannot null and void Mashiach. There's no way that you could do that, because if you null and void Mashiach, then who was your sacrifice all this time between the time of the sacrificing stop to this day? I mean, that's pretty simple. Mashiach is that sacrifice, point blank, period. That's not even up for discussion. So let's jump to the next slide. Okay, so now we're going to run into some definitions. I'm going to get through these definitions as quick as I can, because what I really want to do is ultimately I want to interface with you guys as we get through the presentation. So these definitions are going to be important because they're going to help frame some of the other stuff that we're going to be talking about. And I'll throw the precepts later, but right now, the stuff that you guys put in the chat, I'll throw it up later. But right now, I'm going to focus on the presentation. So we're going to cover these few definitions. And this is going to help, these definitions are going to help frame our mind, because a lot of times when we hear a word or we see a word, we need to break it down and really fully decode what it is, right? So we're going to look at God. We're going to look at the definition of church. We're going to look at the definition of adherent, purpose, myth, pagan, and paganism. And like I said, I'm going to get through these as quickly as I can. So the first one is God. We read the noun version of that. One of several deities, especially a male deity. So, and this comes from dictionary.com, I'm sorry. Especially a male deity presiding over some portion of worldly affairs. 2, an image of a deity or an idol. 3, any deified person or object. 4, a nebulous powerful force imagined to be responsible for one's fate. Like, for example, for those of you who play poker, who play cards, the god of poker dealt me 2 aces. You know, I'm laughing because I didn't read that at first. I think I thought they had me stumped at number 3, but a nebulous powerful force. And so I'm going to read the verb uses, then we're going to move on. To regard or treat as a god, deity, and idolize. Okay, so next slide. So next slide is church. So church, now a building for public Christian worship. Okay. Number 2, public worship of God or a religious service in a church building. Number 3, the whole body of Christian believers or Christendom. Verse 4, any division of this body professing the same creed and acknowledging the same ecclesiastical authority, a Christian denomination. So I'm going to interject here. Okay, so what I see happening is the word church has been co-opted by Christianity and further co-opted and pushed by dictionary.com, but that's okay, because church really just means assembly, right? And so because Christianity has co-opted this as well as other terms and phrases, when they co-opt something, they'll take it and make it a part of that paradigm when it doesn't belong to that paradigm. Just like when they say that the Bible is a Christian book. Huh? When did the Bible become a Christian book? What year was that? When? How? Where? Why? Why did the Bible become a Christian book? The Bible was written to, for, and by Israelites. Not even up for discussion. Mashiach was an Israelite. So that's who the book was by and for. Point blank. So you'll see different, and you'll hear phraseologies used by Christianity, like the word saints. Well, Christianity is a newfound phenomenon that happened long after Mashiach had went and crossed over and walked and left. So on the earth, and then he walked on the earth for, I believe, 40 or 50 days, then he left. He left planet Earth. And he was gone a few centuries before the Romans and the Greeks fabricated the message that it was about them and for them. And oh, by the way, we're going to use this made up religion that we have to conquer the whole earth, which was booked because those kingdoms will be ruling over us according to prophecy, right? But I digress. I'm not gonna hit them over the head with that. But I can tell you right now, there's nobody on the earth that's been on the earth, that's under the earth, that's on the sun, the moon, or that's out of the earth, that's out of the dome, that's floating around in outer space, entity alive or not, that can prove that the Bible is a Christian book. You can't do it. It's not even nowhere even possible to do it, because no way that could even possibly exist. So now I'm gonna keep going. Hey, brother Banya, how you doing? I'm gonna add you in. How's it going, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. Shalom and blessings.
All right, peace and blessings. I'm gonna keep it rocking. Adherent. So an adherent is a person who follows or upholds a leader, cause, etc., supporter, or a follower. So if you are a follower of Mashiach, you are an adherent of Mashiach. If you are a follower of the Father who created everything and who created this whole construct that we live in, you are an adherent of him. If you believe in the zigzag man, if you believe in Buddha, if you believe in Hare Krishna or the rocks in your backyard, if you believe in the rocks in the backyard and they could do something for you, then you are an adherent and you follow the rocks in your backyard. The adjective, sticking, clinging, and adhering. Most of us stick and cling to Mashiach, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You better be. Some of us sticking and clinging to and adhering to one of the 45,000 different denominations of Christianity, and they're part of the 2.1 billion adherents. Book says broad is the gate to destruction. One world religion, Catholicism, Islam, and Christianity, all from the same root. Seems like a pretty broad gate to me. Next, purpose. Now, the reason for which something exists or is done, made, and used. An intended or desired result, end, aim, or goal. 3, determination, resoluteness. The verb for that is you purposed in your heart to do something, or you were purposing to take the garbage out, but you neglected to take it out because you weren't really fully purposed to take the garbage out. You were just pretending in your mind that you wanted to take it out, and you didn't take it out. So we'll move to the next one. Myth. Now this is important. All of them are important, but we're going to look at myth. A traditional or legendary story, usually concerning some being or hero or event, with or without a determinable basis of fact or a natural explanation, especially one that is concerned with, get this, deities or demigods, and explains some practice, rite, or phenomena of nature. I'm going to stop right there. The reason why I'm going to stop right there is because I'm going to say to you, family, this. a lot of the stuff that we deem to be mythological, they hid their gods in mythology. And a lot of you know that. I'm preaching to the choir. I know that there's a lot of brothers that have studied this, and I'm not a scholar in this, but I can say this, that Thor is an entity. I know for a fact that Apollo was an entity because they built stuff to him. And there's stuff still standing to him in Baalbek, and we'll get into that. So, mythologicalizing something or making it mythology takes you away from it being potentially real, which is why they will hide a lot of stuff in the movies. So I'm going to keep moving forward. But just know that if something is a myth or legend, as you go through and decode it and start looking into it, you're going to prove to yourself that it is more than likely was so. Okay, so we're going to cover, and I mentioned 3 paradigms. So these are the 3 paradigms that we're going to kind of contrast and look at. And I got a couple more slides, so you guys can bear with me. I actually have 2 more slides after this. And then we're going to get into a little bit of discussion time where I want to get some feedback from you guys. So the 3 paradigms or the 3 gods are: 1, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So reason why that's a paradigm, because he chose a people. And he gave that people a lot of information, past, present, and future, in the book that he gave those people. Now that big book may have been stolen, that book may have been tampered with, stuff erased, stuff omitted, stuff deleted. They press Control Alt Delete, removing books. Then you had people who the book wasn't written to say that, okay, this part, these 66 books, we will call them canon. We'll delete the Hebrew books that the New Testament was written in Hebrew. We'll obliterate those and obliterate those out of people's minds so that they won't even never believe and think that those were written in Hebrew, that they were the Greek, when that's not true. But that's a whole different conversation right there. So you have one paradigm, the paradigm of the Father, which is the father of, as I always say, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he is also my father because I am part of the chosen seed. And the whole paradigm of the chosen is that he chose Jacob and surnamed him and changed his name to Israel. And so the family, the culture of Israel is one paradigm. It's not a religion. It's not we adherent to anything. This is our culture. There's a big difference if you adhere to number 2 or number 3. Now, we're not going to focus on all of them. We're just going to focus on these 3, because out of these 3, you can probably... Okay, so let's jump to number 2. The God or gods of Christianity. Now, I can tell you that Christianity does not worship the Father. They do not. Why? Because they do not do what the Father says to do. How do you love the Father? Precept, we cover that precept all the time. How do you show you love the Father? So you mean to tell me that you, the Father, the creator of this whole universe, and his son, Christianity, that's your God? No, it isn't. You got somebody else who you rock with. Matter of fact, you had a whole construct laid out before you by the Romans and the Greeks and the Arabs, and you follow that, but we'll get into that. And number 3, the gods of paganism. Now, we're not talking about him. We're going to focus on a specific paganism here, pagan. And did we even cover pagan? I didn't even cover the, I forgot to put that in the slide. I guess I moved it around somewhere. Okay, so I was supposed to cover paganism. I'll probably have to look that up, or we'll just keep moving. So the God or gods of paganism. So when we look at the word pagan and paganism, there is specific religions that are considered to be paganism. And I'm not talking about Hinduism. I'm talking about the mythology of the Norse gods. and the stuff that they follow, and Thor and Odin and all of those entities. So when I hear paganism or pagan, I tend to run to that, but you can lump all of the other religions into paganism and say that they're paganism. But we're going to look at these three paradigms. So now what I'm going to do is, without belaboring the point, we're going to look at some articles, interesting articles that I found. And as soon as I get them up, I'm going to have to probably get rid of this screen. And then we're not going to read all of the articles, family. What we are going to do, though, is we're just going to look at them, go over them together, help frame and shape. And I only have, like one or two more slides. So this is just going to help us to frame and shape our thoughts on these different religions that we've been fed and given. So this article is about the deep, invasive roots of Christian nationalism. Now, you know, on Salt of the Earth, we talk about Christian nationalism all the time. So let me know if you can see my screen, fam. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see if I can kill some of this craziness that's shown on these articles. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you all, because it's probably coming in a little bit too small. Hopefully that's big enough. Okay, so in this article, what this article covers is the theocracy ruled by white Christian nationalists is not to be confused with simple God-loving Americans. Well, that right there is a misnomer, because first of all, America is a Christian nation. I agree with that 100% wholeheartedly. But that doesn't make it a nation that's in the book, because Christianity is not in the book. So yeah, America is a Christian nation. But if you read it, not to be confused with simple God-loving Americans. Okay, Americans do love God. That's true. But who is their God? Who is it? The Zigzag Man, Cesare Borgia? Is it some entity? Is it Hashatan? The overwhelming force of Christianity ingrained in Southern culture created a society of individuality, greed, racism, hatred, small-mindedness, and desire to control others' lives. That sounds like today, don't it? You can't speak, you can't walk, you can't run out, you can't jog, you can't go to the store, you can't do anything in this construct. Why? Because they want to control you. And it's a spiritual control. It's not just physical, it's everything. Southern Christians, no, they should just say all Christians, supported slavery, because they all did. The North and the South did. It wasn't just the South. And see, they play this Republican, Democrat, Southern, Northern thing on you. But if you've been a listener to the channel, we've covered that in a couple of different series. Matter of fact, we covered that in Red Summer. And we also covered that a bit in Civil War. And I also, at some point, the person who was hitting me up via the Gullah Geechees, I want to cover them too, because they know themselves to be Israelites. Now, here's what they try to hide behind. They hide behind abortion. They say, oh, it's because of abortion that Mashiach, that the Father's judging this place. It's because of this, that, and the third. It's not because, and they totally dismiss how you were treated. Totally dismiss that. And they even say it right here. Potiphar's wife, the latter of whom tried to seduce Joseph. These stories give people misinterpreted grounds for the justification of homophobia, misogyny, pro-life arguments, slavery, and the denial of social welfare. What do these Republicans and so-called Democrats do today? They deny that you have gone through anything, and they don't listen to you, which I'm done trying to explain anything to them, and I'm done trying to get approval from them, and you all should be too. It's time out for us trying to get approval from anybody. The only first of all, the only person that I need approval from is the Father. And then next, I need to be rocking with and getting with my family, so that we can do what, fam? So that we can do work and not just talk. Work. Okay? Nationalist church communities are like many theocracies and are determined to spread their message and homogeneity of thought. Okay? Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this article. If you guys want it, I'll post the links in there, but I'm going to read this last part right here. This radical Christianity, the kind where they pray after breaking into the Capitol with rape and murder on their minds. You know who they want to get to, right? They vented out on the Capitol because they mad because they can't do to Israel what they think they want to do to Israel. But what they think to do to Israel is not going to be what they're going to be able to do to Israel. Going further, is dangerous, especially for a nation as diverse as the United States. Now, let me say this before I move on to the next one. How many wars would America have won without the Israelites? They would have won absolutely zero. I'm going to read this last bit and then we're going to move on to something else. People think that the Taliban and Sharia law are scary, but most fail to see how frightening Christian nationalists within the U.S. can be. I'm going to end that right there because that covers that particular article that I wanted to read. And I'm going to click on my next link here and hopefully that launches my next article. Get there. Sorry about this, fam. And sorry for not putting the definition of paganism in. We'll have to circle the wagons on that. Oh, and I didn't apologize for last week too. I want to apologize to you all for last week's audio problems that I had, and you guys were well engaged, and I appreciate that. But your brother was jiggling them wires and didn't know what the heck he was doing. So, and that's his problem, not yours. But let me get this link up. Let me minimize that for now. Bear with me, fam. I'm trying to get to the right screen. Okay, let's see here. Actually, you know what? If we go into presentation mode, let's rock right through it. Okay, let's go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this next article is Christian soldiers, right? And so most of us don't know that, but they know that the lynching and torture of blacks in the Jim Crow South weren't just acts of racism. They were religious rituals. And when I started doing a dive on this, I was like, well, that kind of makes sense because what does the book say about Mashiach? Mashiach was what? Hung on a tree? And the cross was injected from what? Book says Mashiach was hung on a tree. What do they have postcards of doing to us? Hanging us on trees. By our neck. Mimicking Mashiach and mimicking us because they know that we're the people of the book. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ. They were doing this as a ritual in the name of their Christ, the zigzag man, another Jesus, another doctrine. So this is not unique to one group or one religion. There is a tendency in us, a sinful tendency, that convert and distort our faith. Okay, so yeah, but no. Okay, moving forward. I'm not going to get into Ta-Nehisi Coates, but what we have missed is the argument over the Crusades. So no one, a Christian, if you're in Christianity, I don't care what nationality or race you are, if you're an Israelite, or if you're Plaid, or if you're an alien, you need to resolve the Crusades and how that relates to now. How can you resolve the Crusades, Christianity? Tell me the Father, show me in the book where the Father told you to go run around and take over the old earth. Now, it was prophesied that you would do that with this false religion. That was prophesied. But show me in the book where it says that this was your right to do that. Ta-Nehisi Coates, if you haven't, I don't prescribe to everything the brother says, but he does make some good points. But he comes off to me as boule, and I don't rock with them. So, on religious justifications for American bondage, and it's worth noting the same for its post-bellum. And for those of you who have been rocking with us, you know what post-bellum and antebellum means. And since we're thinking in terms of religious violence, our eyes should turn towards the most brutal spectacle of Jim Crow's reign, the lynching. So, like we've been saying here, that right there was the biggest crime against humanity. And the numbers that they have, that's not the real numbers. That there's no way that's the real numbers. Because when we were caught in between that war where they were fighting over us, a lot of us lost our lives. Just imagine that you have one force pulling for you, pulling to get you so that they can have you, and then the other force saying, no, we want to keep you here. And then if you did escape, or if you did happen to get out there and caught in the middle of the crossfire, you would just get whacked. And so we covered that in Civil War, what happened with our people. So this is another good article. And again, I'm not into reading the articles, but I do want to read this about the one sister that was, and I know you guys know the story about Mary Turner and what the savages did to her, because she complained about her husband and what they did to her husband. She was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant. They turned the woman upside down, stripped her, turned her upside down by her anchor, soaked her with gasoline, roasted her to death. And in the midst of this torment, a white man opened her swollen belly with a honey knife, and her infant fell to the ground and gave a cry, and they stomped that infant to death. Okay? Last part I'm going to read on this. These lynchings weren't just vigilante punishments. Now, keep this in mind. Vigilante punishments. Because that's what they want to do to you today. The Kyle Rittenhouses, the McMichaels, the stormtroopers, the storm fronts, the what do they call those? The skinheads, the order, and all their little goofy, silly looking flags. They want to do this to you, but they're not going to be able to do that to you. But if somebody do come your way, because you never know when evil going to come your way, you better be prepared to defend yourself, and defend yourself like an Israelite, like you're supposed to. So I'm not going to read any more of that article. And family, I apologize if some of you got squeamish in hearing what happened to our sister. But I did want to point to how brutal and savage the beast is, and remind you how brutal and savage the beast is that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with an ordinary beast. This beast is vile and wicked. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us to I'm going to go to that one. Let's go to that one. So I talked about earlier, and for some reason my links aren't working as they should. But let me see if I can get this here, copy. And then let's see if I can drop it in. Do copy and paste versus launch. Okay, let's go back to that. Give me a second, fam. I'm going to get the link up, and then I'm going to throw it on that page there that you're looking at. So just bear with me for a second. Yeah, I did mean that. It's asking me the question, did you mean that? Yeah, I meant to do that, but it's not doing that. So I'm going to have to do it this way. Do that. Okay, so let's look at, I talked about earlier, we're going to move off of Christianity for a second. But again, I want to ask the question, how can someone whose ancestors did this to your ancestors be your brother? And you say that they're your brother, and you guys believe the same thing when you really don't, because they don't believe that, number one, those people don't believe that you can be saved. according to their goofy religion of Christianity. They don't believe that you could ever be an adherent to that. Because if they did, they wouldn't treat you the way that they treated you all of this time since you've been here. Albert Pike wouldn't have to fire up the Ku Klux Klan, that 33-degree Mason bastard. Yep, I said that. Please forgive me, but that's what he was. I apologize for that. Y'all strike that for the record. Y'all didn't hear me say that. But anyway, let me keep going. Okay, so I mentioned that the pagans or these other religions, and this is more towards paganism and all the different gods that the Romans had, but the temple of Jupiter is one that is still standing. And if you also Google Baalbek, you'll see ruins. And so this is 100% proof that this is what they worshipped back then, but they actually work, and there it is, the Baalbek complex right there. Years ago, I did a self-study. It wasn't a real study where I went deep or nothing like that. I was looking into Baalbek. And you got the temple of this wicked entity, Bacchus, who Bacchus was the one that, if I'm not mistaken, if you look in the book of Maccabees, where the sister had her 7 sons killed right before her eyes because they wouldn't eat pork. I believe that was that wicked entity Bacchus. And there's his temple there. So when we talk about Apollo, when we talk about Thor and these other entities more than likely did walk the earth, fam. And so even though they're trying to make it a myth, they did walk the earth, and they were here. Matter of fact, if you look at the pyramids and the entities on the pyramids, those walk the earth also. And another question that you need to ask yourself on the pyramids, and you guys may have saw this when Big Red did his presentation, you'll have this giant entity, but then you'll have a human our-size entity on its lap. And it's not a child, it's actually a full-size human being sitting on the lap of this very big thing, whatever the heck it was, right? So I'm going to move off of Baalbek. So as you're doing your own individual research, keep an open mind towards myth and legend. Matter of fact, I recommend you Google myth and legend, because that's going to point to a lot of things, right? I got a couple more links, and then we're going to take a break, and then we'll probably jump into, here's a good one right here. You guys are going to enjoy this one right here. Hey, hopefully
Shalom.
I could just...
Shalom, bro.
It's not going to let me do that.
I'm getting ready to cut out, brother.
I'm going to try to just copy and paste. For some reason, copy and paste is not working for me today.
I'm getting ready to cut out, brother. Shalom and
what's
blessings.
What's that,
I'm getting ready to cut out now, so I want to say shalom, bro.
Okay, go ahead and spit at the fire, man, while you're doing that, man. Speak your piece.
Yeah, I just want to say shalom and blessing to the family, everybody. Thanks for watching. Also, I want you brothers and sisters to consider also that these people with these other gods didn't really hold their gods in that high in the high regard that we hold the Most High. You know, their gods were flawed. Their gods change. Ours don't. Ours don't make any mistakes.
Mistake proof. Plus he created it all, so he can't make no mistake. He can say, I can erase it and do it again if I want to.
Amen.
All right, brother. I'll see you later. You take care. I'll chop it up with you later, man. Be well.
You too, bro. Peace and blessings.
Okay, fam, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at these devils right here. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. Let's see here where we are here. Let me take this out and move that right here. Okay, so I'm going to play a video in a second. Okay, so I need to turn the music off. I'm going to play this quick video. Now, this is a church. Okay? And I want you to hear what this church has to say. Now, keep in mind how the minds of men and women, how the phrase church
has been co-opted. And we're going to watch this. It's only 7 minutes and 30 seconds, so we're going to go ahead and watch it. All right? Let me know if you can hear the audio.
Nothing. It started on that very primitive level, that utterly non-intellectual level, and over time matured into something more finesse, more scholarly informed, to put it mildly.
We do truly believe the goddesses are approachable, and that they are entities that have spirit and can commune with us. We gather in a circle like our ancestors always have. A horn to us represents all the deeds of the past, what we call urology. Everything that we
So it's really been a multiplicity of different, kind of sources that have helped promote neo-paganism and its association with the white supremacist movement. It's most closely linked to kind of the proto-fascists prior to World War II, and then of course more recently into the 70s and especially the 80s, racist skinhead groups become pretty oftentimes associated with neo-paganism.
Today, race is such a huge issue, and it's spoken of completely positively if you're any race other than a white person in America.
The way I think about white nationalism, it's a branding strategy, or brand themselves in ways that sound more innocuous, less threatening. They talk about loving their race, not hating anyone. That's very common.
I think we are concerned about the long-term prospects for our people. We see more and more homogenization. We see more and more lack of concern for what to us is very, very primal issues. I mean, that's my 8 words. The existence of my people is non-negotiable.
I think that most people who are honest understand there's a biological component to race. That's science. Forensic pathology tells you that's a thing.
There are differences. I don't think that we're all tabula rasa when we come out. I advocate personally, if not that Steve McNallen has anything to say to it, but go find your people. Go find the heart and the soul of your people, and what you find will be different from what I find, because we're not the same, and that's okay. We don't have to be the same.
I think anytime you have a group or an organization promoting this type of racial exclusivity, my next question would be, well, who are their members, right? Who are the people that are attending? And what are they all about? Are they inclined towards violence?
I don't know any cases where our people have initiated violence.
Violence comes a lot when somebody's victimized, when somebody's pushed down, and somebody's not allowed to take pride in themselves. I think that makes the desperate people. You see a lot of immigrant communities have been traditionally, from their country of origin. They had their own little stuff. They have their own little section of town. They often had their own religious practices, and people got along just fine. Of course, there are acts of violence someplace. There's hundreds of millions of people in our country. But in general, that doesn't need to be there.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
Trump spoke the language of white supremacy. He started talking about Mexicans as rapists when he called for the Muslim ban, when he cheered on his rallies to commit violence, and talked about the good old days when you could beat civil rights protesters with billy clubs. And once he was elected president, he used terms like shithole countries and referred to immigrants as an infestation. And I can't tell you how many times I've listened to conversation among white supremacists, either offline or online, and they use the exact same words.
Our people tend to be, you could say, Republican or Libertarian. There are not going to be many Democrats out there. They might be married to Democrats. Some of them were pretty active in the last election. We weren't, truthfully. But, I mean, a lot of people were, and they loved it.
The guilt by association thing, we're a church. We have people who have lived all kind of different lives, are involved in all kind of different politics. We got all sorts of different people with different backgrounds that come to our events and interact with us. If people show up at the Hoff and they're good folks and they're there to worship the gods and they're not causing a problem and not being offensive, we welcome them and give them a hug and do things with them.
Anybody who comes in and starts talking accelerationist stuff.
What do you mean
Accelerationist is a term that's used to describe people who people who actively want to start a race war or something like that. They want to be the primer that sets off the bomb. And
have you had those people
no,
show up?
no. And
Lying because they won themselves.
Standards are so high. People know.
Your standards high. That food look bugged out, but all right.
It's very important to us to be good neighbors and good parts of our community. So each place that we have a Hoff, we've been trying to be involved in local charities, local community things they want to do. As of last month, all 3 of our Hoffs have monthly reoccurring food giveaways for the community. So we have no desire to do anything bad to other people. We just want nice things for us. We don't have some big overarching political aims. That's not what we're doing. We're a faith, we're a religion, and we find ourselves in the United States of America where we have a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. It's what it is. Within that, we want to carve out a space for us where we can get together, celebrate our gods and our ancestors, and worship as we choose.
I want the existence of my people in perpetuity. I want my distant descendants to be able to look up at a starry sky and say, are you there?
It's important to underscore that a lot of what we see with these groups is kind of front and backstage behavior. So what happens on the front stage is kind of PR, public relations. The question is what's happening on the backstage.
All right, fam. So that's that link. I may have 1 or 2 more. I'm checking to see where we're at with time. Let me go back to my presentation. Take a look and see what we got. That's another fake culture, racism, not aborted birthers. Okay, so we covered that. Okay, I want to play this one last video. I'm going to skip over one because the one article, there was someone that wrote a book on lynchings and how they're related to and how they are related to pagan rituals. So we don't have to cover that. I think that already resonated with the family. Now this is going to come from one of our beloved current YouTube giants, Phil from the Advice Show. And it just so happens that he put this up today, and I thought that this was fitting. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for y'all.
I can tell you, stop caring about them. They don't care about you. They don't think about what you want and what you don't like. Why do we need to justify coming together with a white supremacist? Why? Who told you that?
I'm going to end that right there, because my same question would be, why do we need to justify ourselves to Christianity and to those of our family who believe that we Israel or not? Why do we have to keep trying to justify that? Why? What's the point in that? Are we going to win some sort of prize by doing that? Are they going to lay off of us if we do that? Are they going to say, oh yeah, we with you. We totally with you. Yvette, hopefully you were able to hear all of that. If you weren't, hopefully you'll catch it on the get back. And so I'm with Phil on everything that he said. Every single thing, because here's the thing. Okay, we could get it to the let's get it to the slide, but family, it's time out for trying to prove yourself. It's been time out. There's no reason in, above, below the earth, inside of the earth, outside of the earth, or Mars, if you can get to that, for us to prove anything to anybody, which is why we're not in the business of proving who Israel is. Why don't you prove Christianity? You have 45,000 different flavors of that. One week I could be an Episcopalian. One week I could be a Baptist. One week I could be holiness. One week I could be AOC, ABC, XYZ, the Mickey Mouse Club. They got, who's that other club over there? They got Fred Flintstone and them. They done fired up their own church. Now you got the Fred Flintstone religion of Christianity. Scooby-Doo and them got one. Kanye West got one. And Kanye West recently came out, he was an Israelite. So fam, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. And matter of fact, when we're on the street, that's the last thing that I was trying to do, is have a discussion with the heathen telling me about the book. That's actually insulting. I'm going to put this one up because that's heavy right there. The 1948 people should prove who they are. Well, actually, they should, but that's an impossibility, which is why you never, ever, ever hear them bringing this up at all. Because that's like kryptonite to them. You bring these people up. These people fit everything, the curses and the blessings, and yet you don't say nothing about them. And so the outer narrative is, okay, we both are. No, we are, you're not. But anyway, I digress. So wait a minute, let me see that. Before we go to the last part, I'm gonna look at some of the y'all have to check. And please forgive me. Had I known while the video was playing, I couldn't find where StreamYard was. So I was like, okay, I'll just let the video rock out. Y'all know I need the zigzag man. Zigzag man, where you at? Help me. So this a lot is not in white costumes. Y'all off the hook with that. Because those who want their justification have made covenant with them. Absolutely correct. Here's the crazy part. So you have these so-called Christians from one of these 45,000 different denominations. And the only thing that they would have in common with an atheist, a Catholic, somebody who doesn't believe that the Father is all-knowing when he created time and he created the continuum that we live in, and they'll all come together for one thing, and a preterist, but they'll come together to fight against somebody that say that, okay, these are my ancestors here in this book. And they'll come together for that. And that sounds kind of retarded, especially if you're a believer. If you say that you adhere to the book, if you're saying that, then you should have no problem with somebody saying that they're bloodline, because you never come at 1948s. When they talk about bloodline, what do you say to 1948? Nothing. Why don't you ever come at 1948? So, having said all of that, there's not a Christian that I need to prove anything to. A family member, relative, church member, pastor. Pastor can come and get his head cracked open with the book too. I had 17-year-olds growing up coming with us when we was street teaching and would knock the pastor out like a hammer to the head with the book. Because the only thing they know is what they've been taught by the enemy. If you went to cemetery school, you was taught by the enemy. You need to re-educate yourself by stripping down all that phony Christianity BS and put on your culture. Put on your culture. Change your mind. See, that's the difference between these religions and us. This is our culture. It's not a religion. It's not a game. We can't put on being an Israelite and take it off. Book says, upon thy seed for a sign and a wonder, for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. You can't take that off. You can't run from that. And the reason why some of them is trying to run from that is for a simple fact that, hey, you know what? I want to either get some butter biscuit crumbs, or I want to appease somebody that look like somebody else to make myself look like I'm intelligent, when both of y'all is dumb as hell. Both of y'all. If they prove who they are, the truth will come out that they are not. Exactly. Which is why they would never ever approach anybody that's talking about their Israel. That's talking about, okay, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the father of those people that went in transatlantics. That's their daddy. Now, few, who's your daddy? Who's the daddy of the fews? But they say Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is he's neither Ham nor Shem. They can't prove nothing, which is why they never approach you about nothing. They can't approach you about nothing. 1948 Balfour Declaration, people can't approach you about nothing. Matter of fact, the brother Farrakhan put out that book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Fews, how they ran the whole slave trade from front to back. It was them. Jabroni, what's up, bro? I see you out there causing havoc. I see you when you don't think I see you. At Born Bold, they believe it'll only be a remnant, whatever that means exactly. They have no clue about what the book said, because they know that they not the people of that book. And I can get anybody that's in this chat right now can disprove any few on the face of this earth right now. Because I know y'all know this book. And I know they don't know. Matter of fact, they don't even, well, what they say about Mashiach is absolutely fantastic, that he's in hell boiling in human excrement. That's what they say about the Father's Son, the only begotten. The Talmud, the Zohar, the Midrash, and that all of that points to that hocus pocus magic that they do to get money, when they really just communicate with their Father Hashatan. That's all they doing. The fews ain't nothing special. They never have been nothing special. You not Shemitic. You never was and you never will be. That's my people. Okay, so now, having said all of that, we're not going to take a break. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for open discussion. But in terms of opening it up for open discussion, we're gonna look at these points, and I'm gonna move this back down here. and I'm going to put it up on the screen. So open discussion. We can all have a conversation where we talk about these points, but we don't have to limit it to these points. But I want to get your thoughts on the commonalities between the paradigms. Now, you saw the video of those people that were talking about they want to get back to their God. And they should get back to their God. Nobody should be messing with them people and stopping them people from getting back with their G. If they want to do that, let them. They should be allowed to do that, right? And you Negroes shouldn't be interfering with them either. Let them get back to who they worship and who they believe in. Now, I will say this. If I start at the top and I really want some interaction between myself and the fam, if we start at the top and we look at all of these things, we could look at some of the commonalities between paganism and Christianity. Because Christianity was brought to you by the wicked Romans, further instituted by Vatican Roma, pressed down upon you by slavery, bapped over the head with Islam, and then stuck a knife in your neck with Catholicism, which is the father and mother of all of it. But then you went through all these different gyrations of the foolishness. But you could see the commonalities between those people, those same people that were talking about their Norse gods, and notice that they say gods plural because they are not mono, they're polytheistic, which means that they have a number of gods that they believe in. Not just one, male and female, but they have a few. But the commonalities, if you listen and watch a white nationalist Christian speak and these paganism people speak, you would, and they mention church, but you would think that you're in a white church as you hear them talk. That's why I wanted to get the definition of church, because Christianity has co-opted that. Those people that were in that church in California, that pagan church where they worship Odin, they believe that they're saints. And they believe that their God is all-powerful and all-knowing. And they believe that their God is protecting them and that they should be in the position that they're in. How is that any different from Christianity? See, you can't. Okay, so here's what no Christian can do. You cannot separate the atrocities that we went through from Christianity. You can't do it. What we went through was prophesied. So how could you separate that religion from our plight? You can't do it. You can't do it. It's impossible. You mean to tell me that you could separate the Crusades from Christianity and say, okay, it's good and it's right? When? When has Christianity ever been moral or right? You don't go by the book. You don't do what the Father say do. You don't love the Father. You don't love his Son. The Son told you he came in whose will? The Son said he does the will of who? The Son is telling you he's an adherent of his dad, not an adherent of some Voltron religion where you got 45,000 different puzzle pieces that you got to put together. And then if you get mad at somebody, you can make up your own puzzle piece. Are you serious right now? So you could see the commonalities between church adherents, between those white nationalists and the regular common white Christian. There is no difference. There's no difference between paganism and Christianity. It's the same thing. You just put a different wrapper on it. You put a different, they stand in a circle. But I also, and hopefully I'll be able to put these links out. Did you guys notice the flags and symbology that was there? And noticing that and being aware of that is not for fear, and it's just so that you're aware when you see certain things. Just to keep you aware, because we don't operate in fear around here. That's not our MO. Okay, so now I'm gonna start throwing some comments up, and I'm gonna also post the link in the chat. For those of you who want to jump on and speak your piece with a brother, you're more than welcome to do that. The commonalities of that, but I do have the question that I do want to ask. And if I look at this question here, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of Christianity? Can anybody answer that? What's the purpose of it? I'm an Israelite. I go by the book. I don't have a religion. I'm not connected with that. So what is the purpose of it? And then, can I use it? Or is it myth? Is Christianity myth? If Christianity is this great thing, how come people that are in Christianity hate me so because I say I claim the book and I claim that as my culture and I claim the people of the book as me? Those are my ancestors. Huh? What is the purpose of it? Because right now, to me, Christianity is a myth. It's a mythological, it's a money grab. If you want to get your money, or it used to be a money grab, but guess what? The awakening, shh, give you a secret. The awakening stopped their money. See, if I say that out loud, then we'll probably get blocked. The awakening stopped their money, stopped the gravy train. Gravy train is ended. Because you know why? The fathers shook, been shaking Israel. Shaking them. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up, dead bones. Book say, can these dead bones live? Surely you know. Dead bones waking up now. Everybody all over the earth know. So now what they're going to do, they're going to try to pin something on you. They're going to try to pin anytime a so-called colored Negro, African American, or anywhere all over the earth does something, guess the first thing that they're going to look for and pin to them? That was one of those black Hebrew Israelites that did that. Huh? What does Christianity have? What is Christianity's relationship to the kingdom? What? What is their connection to the kingdom? Because the way the book reads, the kingdom is for Israel. And everybody else get to kick it on the outside. 12 gates don't have the 12 gates of, well, who is, I'm going to name some people. Charleston Heston, Tom Cruise, George Washington, Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, Albert Pike. That's 7 for y'all. Y'all could come up with 7 other names. Madonna. 12 gates. Got my ancestor's name on it. So tell me where a Christian name is on one of the gates. Maybe T.D. Snake's name is on one of the gates. Maybe his name is up there. I wasn't even sharing that screen so y'all could see the whole discussion, did I? My bad, fam. Hold on a second, fam. Y'all know, I'm going to say it like I always say. Y'all know that I need the zigzag man. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to share this screen right here. And so this is what we got for open discussion. I'm sorry, fam. I should have had this up while I was talking. But I'm getting better, though. E, what's good, brother? How you doing?
Doing well, brother Cleo. How you doing today?
I'm all right, man. Just trying to get through this conversation that I'm having with the fam. I haven't put up any of their comments yet because I was going on and on about these open points of discussion. Didn't even have them up. So anyway, go ahead and spit some truth and wisdom to the family, man. I'll mute out for a second while I go get something to drink.
Well, are you sharing the audio with the screen?
No.
Because I'm hearing an echo.
Okay, how's that?
I think well, it's doing the same thing.
Okay, let me press this button.
You have someone in the background?
No. Let me do this right here. Hold on. How's that, bro?
Let me see.
Okay, let me do one
That's
more
better.
thing. Just bear with me for a second.
That's better. That's good. Whatever you just did.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, great. I hear you loud and clear too. You got any
All right.
echo in there?
I think it still is a little bit, but it's
A
cool.
little bit? Okay, let me try one more thing. Try something else. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. That's
No
perfect.
echo?
That's
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay, cool. So you go ahead and speak your piece, bro.
But shalom and blessings to everybody in the chat. Hope y'all doing well. I just wanted to talk about Christianity. For a while, I struggled with calling it what it is, because I didn't want to be out of line. I didn't want to be disrespectful. But I see Christianity serving two purposes. The first purpose, pretty much for people to not understand the Bible and its contents and its context. Most people who remain in Christianity don't really understand the Bible for what it is. But those who, wise up and understand Christianity and see how flawed it is, once they let Christianity go, they automatically let the Bible go with it. So it's just the enemy using many tactics to keep people from understanding the Bible. If you're stuck in Christianity, you don't understand the Bible. But if you decide to let Christianity go, you're going to let it go and you're going to let the Bible go with it. And that's what happens with most people. And they get into other beliefs, other religions that revolve around Satanism pretty much. And so that's what I see Christianity as.
And that's absolutely correct. And the different perspectives that brothers and sisters have, and your perspective is coming from a wisdom perspective. The different perspectives that I see in the chat are spot on as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the posts up in the chat. Please forgive me, fam. You guys know what it is. Nation of Yahshua shall be a nation without walls. That's correct. That's book. That's what the book says it's going to be. Let's see here. It should be to teach you how to walk as Christ walked when he was on the earth. So Jason Philip McCauley, are you talking about Christianity or are you talking about the culture of being an Israelite? Let's put this in there. Part of the royal family of the Most High. They were non-believers anyway. That's why they leave the Bible. And these are basically your comments, E. Leading the flock to the slaughter. Yep.
And I agree with that comment.
Exactly. Why is that so hard for our moderate brothers and sisters to take a hold of? That salvation is of the Jew, and those that cleave will be blessed by cleaving to us, but the promises belong to Israel. Yeah, why don't you have one gate that has a gent name on there? Put a famous gent, put Tom Brady on. Take off one of the Israelites and put Tom Brady name as one of the names on the 12 gates that you enter in.
How about that? I mean, and it don't have to. Maybe it's George Washington. You put George Washington there. How foolish does that sound? You sound crazy as hell even saying that, Brother Cleo. You sound crazy saying that. What's wrong with you? Are you serious?
Yep.
I gotta go back to this now that we got them up. The practices of Christianity and paganism are the same. They both probably will have the same holy days, and they both probably worship some entity that's not even in the book or never was in the book. The Christians worship Thanksgiving, Halloween, because they say, oh yeah, we're not going to go out and have our kids knock on doors, but we are going to allow them to dress up and go to the church and get candy. So you celebrating Hallows Eve with Sam Hain. That's what you're doing. You do Christmas, you do Easter. When did the Father tell you to do those things? If you about the book. If Christianity is about the book, why don't you do what he says? Mashiach said he came, I said it earlier, he said he came to do the will of the Father. So if he came to do the will of the Father, who was he operating under? They make it seem like Mashiach came with a whole new thing. Anyway, let me chill out for a second. I need to get a cream soda or something. Brother Hal, how you doing, man? Welcome aboard the show. How's it going, bro?
I'm just laughing. I'm laughing in the background. I need to go get a cream soda. That was good.
Yeah, get smoothed out, man. I need to get smoothed out. Get a bowl of cornflakes or something.
I hear you, bro. Hey, thanks for having me on. Yeah, a great conversation tonight, Brother Cleo. I was just sitting back. I wanted to give some of the other Salt family in the chat a chance to get on, because I'm always popping on with you brothers. Your brothers always give me that opportunity to get on. But just wanted to say real quick, really, really great conversation tonight. That video that you showed, in my opinion, it's what America has always been. There's no difference. I think what has happened, though, is after the curses were over, after the 400 years ended, and all hell broke loose across the world, now people feel the need, or they feel like they have the opportunity or the urgency to kind of be out there, with white supremacy, to be out there with what they've wanted to say and do all along. Those Confederate flags, those white only churches, that is their God, but that's the God they've been worshiping all along. The American flag is also their God. These are the things they worship. These are the idols. These are the gods. These are the images. These are the graven images. Nothing has changed. It's just out there. It's in the face now. One thing that I saw today that just really gripped me and upset me, with the Ahmaud Arbery verdict, there was this sense that so-called black people, our people, were happy at the verdict. There's no happiness in what you're supposed to do. There's no happiness in, breaking down the justice system, or, people doing what they're supposed to do by sending these, devils to jail for life. We're not happy with that. We just want you to not do it. We just want you to not kill us, and they're thinking that, this is where we find our happiness. This is where we get our joy when, for some reason, somehow your messed up justice system actually, in your opinion, works. But this is not a happy occasion. we lost a person that we're not getting back because some devils decided to hunt him down like a dog and kill him. You know, so I just wanted to come on here and say that. I just wanted to, just hammer home the point that their God is anything that they could grab hold on. Their God is this country, and this is what they will go down worshiping. Hey, brother E, how you doing today, man?
Shalom, brother Hal. Doing okay?
Hey, brother Raul, you stay on, man. Don't go nowhere. You stay on here. The brother made some key points, and the points that you made are points that I always harp on because they have such a proud look about what they do, and they believe that they're right. And you have people upset that these three demons was found guilty. You have people upset on their side because they believe that no matter what they do, they're right. Blow a black man brains off if he get out of his car for no reason, they're right. The black man should have complied. You walking down the street, not bothering anybody, they roll up on a 12-year-old and gun him down in a park, Tamir Rice, without a chance. And yet they take their home when theirs can go and shoot up a store, kill 100 people, and they get taken to the jail without even getting hit with a rock. And so I kind of understand why our people are so overly exuberant. I'll say that because they have never given any bit of justice in this land at all. And so if some people are happy, that's, to me, that's okay. But at the same time, like you're saying, that shouldn't be a point of happiness for us because we should be getting justice no matter what.
Absolutely.
They didn't ask for it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you shouldn't have to beg and ask for justice. That should just be a normal thing. Now, here's my question. When Arbery got gunned down originally, and peace be upon him, where were the Christians at? Where were the evangelicals, whether they be white or black? Where were they at? You didn't have an uproar. You didn't say, hey, you know what? Those good old boy Christians that were probably Methodist or Presbyterian, those good old boy need to get the needle. They need to get a pine oil heavy. They wasn't saying that. That's justice. The man who pulled the trigger, he need to be hung. Point blank. And then they worship that young maggot Rittenhouse when he killing people. Well, he killed his own. I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's not my thing. But now here's the thing, fam. Why is Israel so worried about the heathen and their salvation when the heathen doesn't give a hot lick about you? Why? Nobody better not ever walk to me telling me about the heathen and them getting saved. Because I don't even care about them like that. You guys can look through all the videos on here that you want. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I do not care about the heathen salvation. That's not up to me. That's up to the Father. If He want to save them, this is His construct. So be it. How about you look at Israel and you and a couple of Israelites get together and go do some work for the nation instead of worry about if the heathen gets saved or if the gents get saved. How about that? No, because I get sick and tired of hearing brothers. I heard a brother today. I'm not gonna call his name because that's one thing that I don't do. But I heard a brother on somebody's show, which I'm not gonna name. He was talking about making a great statement, like he was pontificating something really fantastic about the heathens and the Israelites. And I'm like, bro, you still don't get it. You cannot be an Israelite and a Christian. It's impossible. That's impossibility. You cannot be both. You can't. Sorry. And I didn't write the book. I didn't write it. I'm just telling you what it is.
Hey, Brother Cleo, check it out. It's obvious that there's a division in Christianity too that nobody wants to talk about, you know, and that goes back to the portion of when you look at black people, our people. All right, and I'm just using that term as a term of reference, but our people in church have no knowledge of the Bible when you start speaking of history, who the people are, what the promises of the Most High are. You know, our people, you know, in general, really don't have any knowledge of that stuff. And that's a reflection of the type of teaching that comes from the Black Christian church, whereas the white Christian church, the type of teaching that they get is more of a interpersonal type of thing where they are dealing with scriptures. You know, they still messing up the understanding of it, but they know enough to know more than us about the Bible. And so it proves that whatever this concept of Christianity is, all right, obviously they believe that they're at the head of it. And so it's strange to me how when we use the book, obviously they believe that they're at the head of it.
Mute your mic, sis.
And so it's strange to me how mute out. But yeah, it's obvious that this idea of Christianity, they believe that they're at the head of it. And so they get offended when we say that the Most High meant for us to be the head, is because subconsciously that's what they believe. They believe that they're the head, even though they teach us that through Christ we're all saved and we all have salvation. They believe that they're at the head of that, even though, you know, they won't step up to the forefront of that. But then it shows in things like in the video that you just showed a while ago. This is how a lot of them think, you know, behind closed doors. You just have some groups of them that's more, you know, willing to step up to it. Like you have some white pastors that tell you that it's wrong for blacks and whites to intermarry. It's against God. You know, they're right within that concept, but then they may misinterpret something else. But that's what they think about it.
Okay, sis, you are up.
All praises to the Most High.
Come.
How you brothers doing?
Shalom.
How you doing, sis?
Shalom, family.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings. Y'all know this is a hot topic for me, okay? Because for me, being called a Christian or even participating in it, I am in agreement with being called a byword. Period. I'm worshiping their byword. That's what it means to me. And if people would just acknowledge that, they would be better off. Why am I going to go support anything that is derogatory to me, my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, the people that tilled this land? Why would I support anything about that? Why would I call myself that? It makes no sense to me. I mean, that's just me, though. I'm just a woman. I'm just saying. The book, they said that they were niggers. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Niger. Okay?
Hold up. You can speak without filter however you speak. This is Salt of the Earth Productions, and you speak your speech, not mine.
They called my ancestors niggas and associated that with Christianity. That's enough for me to say I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want it. I don't want you. I don't want nothing pertaining to it. And as far as it got to do with me, you brought that to us. You beat that into my ancestors. The same people that now that Israel is awake, all praises to the Most High, due to the Ruach, has awakened us, right, to the truth. And we know it's the truth. It's undeniable. Okay? But yet, you want to still call yourself a Christian. I don't get it. It's like a slap in the face to the Most High. It's like saying, yeah, I know you woke me up, but I'm gonna still hold on to the lies that was given to me, but I know the truth too. You can't. It's not gonna work. You're gonna be found out. Period. Because you got a covenant with them. And once you got a covenant with them, it's a wrap. You're gonna fall. You gotta let it go. I don't want no one calling me a Niger. Okay. I love my beautiful black skin. Okay. My father loves my beautiful black skin. Therefore, I can't. And if you preaching it, I can't be with you. I can't listen to you. It comes a time where we got to let go of the milk in the bottle. We have to put the steak on the grill. All right. And if you still got your pacifier in your mouth talking about you a Christian, then you need to go ye your own separate ways. The book say, if you come preaching another Christ, we should flee from you. Mm-hmm. Especially if we tell you in error.
You got the sisters fired up now. They coming out spitting venom and fire too now. And see, that's why I appreciate the sisters. I appreciate y'all because quiet as kept. There ain't a pastor that could deal with y'all neither. Now, I got young male stars, and stop saying that I'm just the sister thing, because we appreciate our sisters just as well because they know that book also.
I know that, but I also respect the order. I cold-heartedly believe in the book, which means there is an order to things, which means that my men of Israel is over top of me. I respect that, and I give the men of Israel their job. I want to be covered by my brothers, right? So I know my place. But when it comes to Christianity, don't do it. All right. So don't. And people, it comes a time we got to separate from that. I'm telling you, Israel, now is not the time to be straddling the fence. I would say about 2 years ago, maybe you can get away with it. But now that we seeing calamities everywhere, signs in the skies, everything is happening. You better pick a side.
Let me ask a question to the folks in the chat and to the folks still on the panel. Can you be a Christian and an Israelite both, or are they too exclusive for you to be both? In other words, can I walk around saying I'm a Christian Israelite, or are they two exclusive clubs?
I think I think neither one of them relate. I think if you're an Israelite, that's what you are, and you can associate yourself with Christianity, but Christianity is a religion and Israelite is a heritage.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Brother E on that. I just got to say, Sister Bold, thank you. Nobody could have put that better than you just now. So thank you for that. The question, right? We're starting to ask this question more and more about Christianity, right? What it is, whether you can be a true believer, which means, a true believer and be an Israelite and also be a Christian. And, the more we ask the question, the more rhetorical the question becomes. The answer is it's just a flat out no. There is no way. Anyone who is still holding on to Christianity for dear life is simply holding on to what they've been comfortable with for however long they've been a Christian. And it's time to let it go. It's time to recognize it for what it is, and it's just straight up Satan worship. Enough said.
I think the brothers and the sisters in the chat agree with that. Do you guys believe that? And this is to the panel first, and then to the chat. Do you believe that Christianity is demonic or satanic?
Absolutely.
Yes.
No doubt.
Okay, so why is it so hard then for, and I'm not coming at anybody in particular, so y'all don't go and run and tell that, all right? Because that's not me.
Please run and tell it. I said, go run and tell it, because it need to be told, because the kingdom is at hand.
I'll tell it like this. Why are our people still, okay, somebody brought up Berean, and so since somebody brought him up, he's not here to defend himself, but I'm going to ask this question. Why are Israelites still giving that man's channels life? You're never going to convince him that you're the people of the book. Matter of fact, he already knows that you're the people of the book. But because he understands that he's the Jerry Springer of what he calls Christendom, anytime that he can reel you in to get clicks, that's going to be great for his pocket, right? And so most of the time, you guys go on there, we go on there. I don't go on there, but most of the time the fam goes on there, continue to build his wallet book. You're not going to convince one Christian that you're Israelite. Not one. None of them people is going to believe you. Why? Because they caught up. They got you heard of the Willie Lynch chip? Well, they got the Christianity chip too. Them people have been chipped and they don't want to take it out. I got family members that's chipped. They don't want to unplug. They scared to unplug from that paradigm. It's a fear. What are you afraid of?
Hey, Brother Cleo, can I address that?
Absolutely, you can. Speak, brother.
As far as that channel goes, I will say this. Whatever the mission is for the brother, whatever he's trying to accomplish, he's doing it, But in terms of Christianity, one thing that I believe our people are afraid of, and Sister Born Bold mentioned this, she just mentioned it, about another Mashiach, another Christ. One thing that I feel our people are afraid of is this concept of our people believing that if it had not been for us coming here, we wouldn't have received Christ or Mashiach. And so a lot of our people are stuck on that idea that, with us coming here, that's how we came into the gospel. That's how we came into accepting Christ, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard some brothers and sisters express that in Christianity. But, one thing we all know about is the Mashiach. That's one thing, that's the center point, but then Paul warns us of another Mashiach. And I think that with Christianity, a lot of times that's taken out of context or not considered at all, that there is another Mashiach that's separate from the Mashiach of the Bible, and a lot of our people believe that through slavery, we were able to receive the gospel and receive Christ.
May I?
Yes, please.
On that, please.
Yes.
Let's call a spade, Israel. You have waken up and you still want to watch the Real House of what do you call it? Housewives of Atlanta. That's what
Real
Berean
Housewives of
Channel.
Who Gives a Hot Damn.
That's what Berean Channel is. It's drama. The drama. And we all fall victim of that. I'm not saying I'm not, oh, I didn't, because I was following a channel that led me to that channel. I watched one show and knew it was not of the Most High, that he was fighting against us. And why am I going to waste my time with someone who don't believe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I'm beating a dead horse. I'm tossing my pearls unto the swine.
Yeah.
Miss me. And be okay with saying that. That's the problem with Israel, I think. That we are such a compassionate people. It is a blessing and a curse. But you have to be balanced. It is okay to say no. It's a complete sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Let them go. Good luck, Berean. Whatever your name is, I call you black agent. That's what I call you. Because you don't bring no fruit.
And see, that's a good point right there. Now since we throwing this whole, because I make no bones about it, I throw Christianity under the bus every chance I get. But and I'm glad you brought that to the fore, sis, because book says you will know them by their fruit. And only thing I see them doing is just attacking the people who say that this is our heritage, this is our culture, this is us. It's not religion, and we're going by and we're doing what the book says to do, right? But then they want to attack that. So really, they're not attacking us; they're attacking the Father. And I'm noticing, and I'm not going to get into the specifics, but what I am noticing is that all those who were vehemently against Israel, they've been slowly but surely, things have either been happening to them or they done went crazy. And you can go figure out who I'm talking about. Because like I said, I don't like one thing I don't like doing is I don't like putting down my people over the open air. That's one thing I'm not into doing. And because if I got an issue with somebody, I feel that I could go to them, as the book say, and we could discuss it. Now, as far as Berean's channel, his channel is off, way off, because they've got no fruit. What works are they doing? Book says faith without works is dead. Y'all know that precept. So what works are you doing? Well, according to what they doing, you are of your father the devil. And they doing the works of their daddy. They doing the works of who they adherents to and who they have a commonality with.
The Christian church, they work in Israel's pockets.
That's right.
And that's why I say whatever he's trying to accomplish, he's doing that, whether he's trying to build up his super chat, but it's not nobody's benefiting from it but him,
Exactly. It's well he I see him coming from a mile away. Once he said that he's the finesse, that was a wrap for me. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is just about you finessing. So this is a way for you to get a Trinity offering.
Right. But I think
getting clicks.
Yeah, I think also like Sister Bombo was just so on point right there. But if I say, if I'm talking about anybody in the chat, anybody on the panel right now, and I say to y'all, Murray Povich, or I say Jerry Springer, everyone knows what I'm talking about. Everyone knows that there was some point in time where you knew you should not be watching this, but you're watching it anyway, right? You want the drama. You're drawn in, and that's what that channel is about. And some of us would go there and tell ourselves, we got the intention to see people come out of Christianity and be pulled out. But if we're honest with ourselves, we know that's not what we were going there for. We were in the drama. We were feeling it. We were in it. And now it's become so obviously destructive that not only do we not want to go, but we want to pull everyone who's been sucked in out. And so I think, yeah, we can, and I think it's right. We can name the brother, but we gotta take some responsibility, some, if not all, at least a little bit, for what we've done. We've hit that like button on that channel. We've put up the numbers on that channel. That's us, our community.
That's right.
I will be straight up honest. I've told myself not to go there many, many times, and I have. But the one thing that broke the camel's back for me was he had, and I can't remember this guy's name, but it was a so-called white dude on there. I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. He was, sipping liquor on the channel, talking about, our Messiah doesn't know any everything. Yah doesn't know everything, and that was it for me. That was where I said, okay, this is really not good. I got to step back. But even with that, even being able to pull myself back at that, I still feel somewhat responsible for, for egging him on in a bit and for supporting that channel with the likes, even with the dislikes. I feel we have some responsibility in that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like we did give it some support.
I think I would have to agree with you to a certain extent. We gave that channel a lot of life, but the intent of some brothers, because I know that the brothers from Salt of the Earth will go there and contend heavily. Because I know they did not want to see E, they did not want to see Kadar, they did not want to see Banya. They would always cut him off. And there was another brother too, Second Exodus. He's always on Hebrew Spear. I see him on there a lot. But the brothers that went on could contend. And when you could rightfully divide, the only thing a person could say to you is they could say Khan or Amen, that they agree with it, or they could say, I just don't believe it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's not a good answer. You saying you just don't believe it. That's a personal choice then. You personally decide that you don't want to believe the book.
Yeah. And then when you look at like Sister Rochelle said, she said the Ruach told her to leave that channel. A lot of brothers and sisters join channels to fellowship and to be edified. When you come across things like that, you don't feel the edification, you don't feel the unity, you separate from it, But like you said, we went over there basically to get dirty. That was our purpose, to go over there and get dirty. I'm just gonna keep it real. That's why we went over there. We didn't go over there to thumb up the channel or to donate. Somebody saying something out of line, y'all opening up the platform. Okay, let me speak some truth on the matter, and leave it at that. But then, like I said, it's one of those things. It's not for everybody. I'm not gonna tell anybody to go. I'm not gonna say don't go, but I'm gonna say that if you do, be wise in your actions. Don't go to support, just go to see what's going on. You don't have to get involved in anything. You don't have to support that man's channel. I don't. But
I'm sorry, Brother E, to cut you off, but just one quick question to you. So how do I go to that channel and not support the channel?
Boom.
So, and what I mean by that, is if I come to Salt of the Earth, I don't have to hit the like button, right? I don't even have to hit the dislike button. I don't even have to be in the chat. But y'all got my number, right? Y'all got my number, and your numbers go up. Your views go up because I'm there. So, and just help me out here, because maybe I just don't understand. But if I'm on the channel at all, if I'm watching, or if I'm, getting on to discuss and waiting in line to have a discussion on a panel, how am I not supporting the channel?
And yeah, I understand what you're saying, and that's a good question. And I would say that the times that I did go over there, I wasn't supporting the channel because I went with a spirit of correction. That was my purpose. And so when I did speak, people were edified by the things that I said. People reached out. And so it's really just about about your intention, But I do understand your point, because it's about our energy, our time, and being over there, but it's a battleground. If you want to contend for the faith, go ahead, but be ready to deal with that, is what I'm saying.
I hear you. I hear you.
All right, fam, guess what? We 2 hours in, and you know what the old head likes to do. Unless anybody has anything to add, not subtract, but multiply. We only do addition and multiplication, no division, no subtraction. So if anybody on the panel have anything to add, go ahead and let's add it, and then we'll sign out until the next time. Start with you, E.
No, I'm gonna just say shalom, man. I enjoyed this discussion. Peace and blessings to you brothers and Boy and Bo on the panel. Peace and blessings to everybody in the chat. Hope y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you, brother, and thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. You know that. Sister Bombo.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on. All praises to the Most High. I hope we continue to do this work. I hope we continue to gather. I pray that we not here much longer. And peace and blessing, Israel.
Thank you, sister. You know you're welcome here anytime. This is home. Brother Hal.
Hey, thanks, Brother Kia. Brother Eric, Sister Bombo, and of course, Brother Cleo. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you guys, to get a chance to be on your panel. Everybody in the chat, I love you. Thank you. Let's do this, Israel. Have a good night.
Indeed.
God bless.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to close out. Hey, those of you in the chat, the whole house, y'all know I love all of y'all. Y'all know I love my people so. And one of the things, I saw a note that came in from somebody via email that this is like fellowship. And that's what we want to put out. We want you to feel the vibe that you welcome to come here. You welcome to stay. It's not about clicks and views, but it's about you getting edification, because ultimately we need to be doing work, not just talk. To the panel, Brother E, love you, brother. Brother Hal, love you too. Sister B, Double B, love you too. Y'all take care. And this has been another Salt of the Earth Productions.
It's like
E, how do you do it, man?